When these 5 letters have sukoon on them, they will always receive qalqalah, which is adding an echoing sound to the letter to distinguish them from one another. However, when these letters are followed by a kasra or a ya, whether in the same word or the word that comes after it, a very common mistake usually occurs to the qalqalah letter. This mistake is simply not fully letting the qalqalah letter be in a sukoon state. In other words, it will sound like you've added a kasra or half a kasra to it, or as if you started the ya coming after it too early, which would deliver what seems to be half sukoon. And to understand this mistake even better, let us consider the following examples. In this example, we have the dal that is followed by ya. First, I'm going to read it with the mistake so that you know how it sounds like, and then I will correct the mistake to know how to do it properly. وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ. So here I said وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا, and that is not correct because there is no kasra under the dal. And we're not supposed to start the ya in the word yassarna too early before completely finishing the word walaqad, which also results in the same mistake and saying walaqad yassarna. And it should sound like this. وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. So, compare وَلَقَدْ to وَلَقَدِ. So, it's supposed to be وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا and not وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا. That is not correct. Let's have a look at one more example. This time, the qaf is in the middle of the word and it is followed by a ya. The mistake also happens here when expecting the ya that comes after the qaf, and therefore it's either adding kasra under the qaf or starting the ya too early. فَقَالَ لَهُمْ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ نَاقَةَ اللَّهِ وَسُقِيَاهَا. And that is of course not correct because there is no kasra under the qaf, so we are not allowed to say وَسُقِيَاهَا. This is how it's supposed to sound like. فَقَالَ لَهُمْ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ نَاقَةَ اللَّهِ وَسُقْيَاهَا. So we say وَسُقْيَاهَا, not وَسُقِيَاهَا. That is not correct. Next, a similar mistake could also be observed in certain cases when the qalqalah letter is followed by waw or dhamma, resulting in the same mistake, which is then adding kasra or dhamma to the qalqalah letter while it should have sukoon and no vowels whatsoever, like in these examples. كَلَّا لَا تُطِعْهُ وَاسْجُدِ وَاقْتَرِبْ. وَاسْجُدْ وَاقْتَرِبْ. Here, both of these versions are not correct because in one I said وَاسْجُدِ وَاقْتَرِبْ, and that is adding kasra where there should not be kasra, and I also said وَاسْجُدُ وَاقْتَرِبْ, and that is adding dhamma, expecting the waw that comes after it in the following word. And this is how it's supposed to sound like. كَلَّا لَا تُطِعْهُ وَاسْجُدْ وَاقْتَرِبْ. So we say وَاسْجُدْ وَاقْتَرِبْ, not وَاسْجُدُ وَاقْتَرِبْ or وَاسْجُدِي وَاقْتَرِبْ. Next example. وَاللَّهُ يَعْلَمُ مَا تُبِدُونَ وَمَا تَكْتُمُونَ. وَاللَّهُ يَعْلَمُ مَا تُبْدُونَ وَمَا تَكْتُمُونَ. The same mistake here again. We are not supposed to add dhamma or kasra or let the qalqalah letter be affected by the letter that comes after it with dhamma or kasra. And it's supposed to be pure sukoon, like so. وَاللَّهُ يَعْلَمُ مَا تُبْدُونَ وَمَا تَكْتُمُونَ. So we say tubedun and not tubidun or tubudun, because in these cases you're adding a vowel where you're not supposed to. So what is the solution? If you notice that you do indeed make this mistake, the best option is to try to stop at the qalqalah letter and articulate the qalqalah separately so that you can get to hear how it would sound like in its pure form. And once you get it right, you can then link it to whatever word or letter that comes after it. And then compare both sounds from the separate qalqalah to the qalqalah when it's linked to whatever comes after it. And these two should sound very similar. Like that. وَلَقَدْ 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 يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ. And for the other example, وَسُقَ وَسُقَ نَاقَةَ اللَّهِ وَسُقْيَاهَا. Finally, notice this mistake in its extreme form could potentially turn into a clear or a major mistake, since adding kasra to the ending of verbs can turn them into feminine form. This changes the meaning, of course, and therefore must not be made. Like in this example. قَالَ اخْرُجْ مِنْهَا مَذْءُومًا مَدْحُورًا. Here, in this case, it would be a major mistake if I said قَالَ اخْرُجِ مِنْهَا, because that would be turning the verb into a feminine form, and that is changing the meaning, and that's why this type of mistakes should be avoided at all times. Thanks for watching. If you want to start your journey to learn the Tajweed of the Quran, you can click on this link. And if you want to understand the Quran in Arabic, then you should click on that link. And finally, I hope you've learned something new today, and I will see you next time.